Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're jumping back into some more Create Astral. Hopefully you guys are ready. So I have done a little bit of building, just sort of extending on what I've already got kind of worked out here. So I started on getting this set out 21 blocks in this direction, and then 21 blocks on the other direction, and then of course meeting in the middle for this really large area on all sides. And this is sort of the goal for at least our early game factory. Yeah, as you can see, I have some moving of stuff to do. So I'm slowly but surely getting everything torn down. I think the hardest part about this is going to be moving everything and rebuilding it all. Now, with all that cleaned up and now I have fresh space to work with, I think it's time to start working towards making the mechanical crafter. So to do this, I'm going to need brass casings. And that means we're going to need a little bit of brass inside this and also not casting out. So that's kind of a problem. We actually need this to go into a basin. So we place the copper casings inside here and we fill this with brass. So now that I have just enough, there we go. And we'll get that casted out. That's 2 ingots. And we're going to need a few of these brass casings. And this is going to be used for a lot of stuff. But we take 1 to make 3. Now, at the moment, we only need, I think, 21 mechanical crafters, but later on we'll need 25 of them. But for right now, we can definitely get away with just 21. And 21 will allow us to make all of the basic stuff that we're going to need moving forward. Now, for just now, I'm going to go ahead and place our crafter like this. So I'm going to get this all placed in, like so. And you want to kind of follow along with the guide that was initially shown for the crushing wheels. That's sort of the shape that you want to go with. Now, with this finished, this is where things are going to have to change. We've got to get this rotated into a central direction. I'm going to have mine just sent right here in the middle, and it'll just spit the item out for right now. But to do that, we have to rotate all of these until they're all pointed in the same direction. So I want this to all go straight down. These are all going straight down, but we need to make sure these are pointing to the sides. As you can see, just like that. And this should work so long as we provide it some speed. And so we are going to need a cogwheel. We can connect a cogwheel right here. And we should be able to use a regular gearbox to connect to our information panel here. You can see it spinning. And connect that up. And there we go. That is enough rotation to get things crafting. Now, we also want to use a button. This is kind of important. We can use this to actually craft things that don't fit fully in there. But I can put this right here, and this should activate the craft. I don't think I need a redstone wire hooked to anything. But let's try and craft something. Let's get that quadcopter going. So I was looking at this. The gyro, this is what I really want. But we'll be getting that later on. For right now, though, we can make a hull, which is just some andesite casing. We need a seat, specifically red, I guess. But we can make a seat. And then we're going to need the sails. So yeah, I'm going to need some wool, some andesite alloy. This thing should be pretty easy to make, and it just requires a precision mechanism. And we can craft it in here. I'll actually craft it inside here and not a crafting table. I'll craft it in here to sort of demonstrate how to actually use the crafter. So after getting everything crafted up for this, all we have to do is place it in. And it's pretty easy. So we'll just place these like so down here at the bottom to sort of think like this is a regular crafting grid. This goes at the top, this goes in the middle, and then last but not least, a seat. And then, like I said, it doesn't just automatically start on its own if it doesn't fill in the whole thing. But we can jump start it and should start to craft everything. Just like that, so long as we hit the button. Now, it is going to be slow right now because we are using our rotation that is incredibly slow. We can now make the mechanical arm, and we can now make the rotational speed controller, which is pretty cheap, I would say. I mean, this is not cheap, let's be clear. But to use a rotational speed controller, with the way that I have it planned to set things up, I'm hoping that I can use that to sort of just speed up the initial source and then use that everywhere. But there we go. We have ourselves A quadrocopter. How cool is this? So, okay, we're in. No fuel. But we can now fly around. Okay, so yes, it's not the greatest thing in the world as far as speed. But you can fly. And like, it doesn't really cost anything. So I'm going to say this is a win. A win-win. I love that it rotates on you like this. Honestly, I feel like this is a great way to get around. It says it's great, like more or less for building, but I don't know. I think this is also great for exploring. The other copter though is a little bit faster than this. How cool is this though? Like I'm descending. I set my descend key to X. So space and X. To get off of this, I can just hold shift and we're good to go. It's just fantastic. Fantastic. So we hold space and we're gone. How cool is that? Now, can we use this in space? Let's test it out. Let's test it out. We should be able to punch it to break it just like any other machine, like a boat. But yeah, I think putting this to the test on the moon, that's the way to go. Because exploring the moon can be kind of dangerous getting from location to location. Make sure I have all my gear on. We do. Oh, and this may be faster on the moon because of the way the gravity works. Yeah, it looks like it works just fine. So yes, this is a viable method of transportation in this dimension as well. Another useful tool is the extendo grip, and I would actually love to make this as well. I think it's like this, and then the precision here, and then the hand here. And this combined, I believe, yep, everything combined will make us the extendo grip. And so yes, this will increase our reach distance. We can also use tools and weapons with it, and we can put it in our offhand, and anything that we use in our main hand will be affected by this. We'll have extra reach, and it just overall will be a tool that might prove to be kind of handy. Like, pun intended. Actually handy. So I did manage to find my tools. So let's go ahead and apply this dash. Now this says maintained. It says plus 1.2 mining depth, maintained mining. Not quite sure what that means. I'd have to look in the book to see really what this does. But hopefully it helps us a little bit because I need to go mining. So in order to get started with this path up here, I know we've gotten started with this and we're going to have access to some cool things later on. Electricity is also important to sort of get path. All this stuff will end up leading into the same sort of general area. But we need to mine silver. And I believe silver is found on the moon. So mining underground will be important. So we need to make ourselves down underground, mine there. As far as lights go, we can't use fire, and I don't think we can use regular torches. So mining is going to be a little bit of a pain without any sort of lighting. But we're going to use this in order to get our first alternator. And if we go ahead and store this, it's going to require a battery cell. This is all things it's going to require Certus quartz. Hopefully we find this all on the moon. And then we need a machine casing. So these are going to be the big parts that are going to need to be crafted, which means we need lapis sheets, which is going to be pressed blocks of lapis. My goodness. But once we have one, alternator, it'll make a lot more sense getting into Applied Energistics, which was a new tab that opened up here that says, welcome to Applied Energistics 2. The lunar meteorites have rare circuits useful in inventory management. So I definitely want inventory management. I don't know about you guys, but oh my gosh, I am so tired of using chests at this point. I feel like it is going to be my goal to get started there. So for mining, we can use soul torches, I believe. I believe soul torches work. Coal on top, soul on bottom, stick in middle. There we go. So I'm just mining down. We have to get through all of the moon sand first, and then we get down into the moonstone, and hopefully we find silver down here. That's I'm almost positive the quest probably said that. Oh wow, this mine's so much faster. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's... So Desh is definitely worth putting on your tool because I'm mining through this much more efficiently. So in just like that, there is moon silver ore. Very nice. There's also something underground here that we are getting very close to tapping into. And I have no idea what this is. Is this a nether fortress? But it's underground? Is this straight? This is a nether fortress. Well, I don't, maybe there's chests in here worth looting? It's 100% a fortress. I'm trying to get this cleared out. I did take my extendo grip off because it is taking a lot of durability. I think you can enchant them. But yeah, it's definitely taking durability when it comes to this. Right here is a chest. And there are definitely blazes in here. And what do we get? Probably not worth doing this right now. But there we go. Yes, so that is proof. There are chests down here as well. So it seems right at around Y level 74 seems to be a fantastic level for mining up the silver. So I'm just consistently mining in a straight line, and I've gotten about 3 ore deposits so far, just going in one direction. So definitely the place I need to be. So after all those crazy shenanigans, I am back. I have myself some silver. And so I now think it's time to start our digital revolution and go ahead and make integrated circuits, because these are going to definitely be needed for our alternator. So alternator right here. We are also going to need a battery cell. This is all pretty simple. I still haven't gotten Certus quartz. Not sure exactly where to get this yet, unless it's found deeper inside the mines. Either way, we need to get the circuits up and running so we can at least get this started. So I needed another seared melter, so I got that done. I have 32 of the raw silver. More of the silver's cooking over there. But we need a spout, mechanical press at the end, and 2 deployers in order to complete this. So we should be able to just convert our setup here that we have, our current belt that's running, and we should be able to get this set up in the same way that we have this. So I want to get this converted, right? Or actually, I might just want to extend this setup. So let's actually just extend this, and we can go ahead and select that and add this. There we go. And we can go ahead and do a belt along this line. And let's see. The only problem with these storages is that they act a little funny sometimes. But here we go. Now these setups that I'm setting up here, they're not permanent. I'm like working my way towards like a eventual better process. I hope I'm not really biting myself by doing this, but I'm hoping that this will all work in the end, because I'm planning on having more boiler setups. So all of this seems really tedious, like right from the start. I don't know if that was intended, but definitely how this has felt so far. So let's put this in, and then the press is at the end, right? And then the spout is before. Now we need the spout set up, and to get the spout set up, I'm going to be using the seared heater here, and then this is going to go above. Wish we had some better movement stuff. I feel like that's a problem with Create, is there's just the movement is so wonky. Yeah, I think going and doing it this way will work. Or actually, you know what? It might be better just to use some of the rotational power that we have and just have this pulled out of here. Yeah, that might be a better way to go about it. So up top here, we can just use a mechanical pump on the very top, and then we'll just rotate out the fluid pipes into the top there. And then depending on our rotation of our belts, we should be able to get a cog going up there if we convert a gearbox to a vertical gearbox, just like that. We can then put a shaft in, like that. And we should be able to power that pretty easily. Let's grab a cog out of here. And there we go. We have a cog that is now spinning. But we need to rotate the direction. There we go. And so the circuit, we just have to provide it with the ingredients. And on the back, I can just set up hoppers here to provide it with these. They're going to need copper wires in order to function. So I can go ahead and put the copper wire in there, copper wire in there. Probably even split them up even more. Copper wire, copper wire. Now this is going to get the copper, or sorry, the silver. And then I also need to power these two. And unfortunately, this actually needs to be powered as well. What I could do, I guess, is move these over one. So instead of them being where they're currently at, let's move them down one. That way we have access. Otherwise, I'd have to move this. Yeah, I think this will be fine. So we'll just move it. We'll need two of those. Be sure to grab the hoppers that the hopper I just put in. And get things moved over. I don't know. What do you guys think, by the way? You can let me know. Do you guys like the sort of explanation of everything going into this? Or would you just like to see the final product and me explain how the final product is functioning? You guys can let me know in the comments. I'd actually really like to know what you guys think. Like, do you want to see the whole process, or do you just want to see the finished process and us move forward? Because I can do it however you guys feel necessary. Now, this process, by the way, has to go 6 times. So I'm guessing we can just go ahead and use the same setup that we've been using. Now, it does still get clogged up. That is very unfortunate. And I really need to come up with a clever way of preventing it from getting clogged up. It seems like it's going to get clogged up no matter what I do. And I can only, like, for example, this. I can only do like 6 at a time, depending on the size of the belt. Because at the end, with the weighted ejector, it just for some reason clogs up. I have no idea why it does it. It should just shoot it over, unless I can try a new method. And that new method would be to maybe try using the weighted ejector. But instead, I'll have the weighted ejector shoot to a block that is actually not the belt. So maybe it just won't look at the belt this time. You know, the more I think about it, the more I don't think that a weighted ejector is a good idea for this particular setup here. We don't have any piping or anything like that, so that makes it a little bit more challenging just using this mod alone. But we're gonna get through it. We'll get through it. Let's see. I just need some gearboxes. And let's see, how is that going to function here? I'm going to have to extend this out one. We're going to have to do some weird things with the gearboxes here. So I had to do some weird extension here to be able to get it to that gearbox. I'm powering everything from this cog, which then sends the power over here. And then it should be a little bit easier to get the power moved over here. So long as our belt setup works, we should be able to extend this one. And I think placing that in gets that spinning properly. It is a little odd that you do have to like extend the way that you see me extending these out. For example, I have to extend this one out now, and then I can place a gearbox, and that allows the belts to be in rotation. Okay, so with all that, we need to set ourselves up a barrel. I think I have barrels right here. Yep. So set ourselves up a barrel and then a funnel. I don't think I have funnels. I do have a funnel. There we go. Perfect. So there's a funnel, and then we'll use an andesite funnel to collect everything after we're done. Now, the main part of all of this, the main setup here, is going to be providing this right here. I think I have the hopper set up, but I don't remember if I put the wires in. I did have wires in, but I guess they're gone now. But the main part of this is going to be just getting the lapis, I think. The lapis is huge. That requires so much lapis. I mean, I have a bit of it. So here's a few blocks. I think for the main alternator, though, we only need one of these. I don't think this needs 2. So we technically need, and these are lead. I don't even know if I have lead, unless that's found on the moon as well. Goodness, there's so many steps. It's like my brain is going numb here. But yeah, we should be able to press over here. and get this up and running, hopefully. Let's go ahead and toss these down in. So there's a sheet. And so we're going to need 4 of them. And there it goes. Perfect. And we should be able to run these through. I think I have some coal. Let's grab coal and then fire this up to get the melting started. Oh, not in here. It needs to go in that slot, which you can access from here, apparently, as you can see right there. We put the silver in. That's going to get started and get pumping. And then we just send the lapis sheets in. And this should function. We just have to wait for the silver to come in. And this has to do this 6 times. 6 times in the rotation to make these properly. And these are not placing the wires. Well, that kind of stops this whole setup, doesn't it? For some reason. Oh, they're not spinning. I forgot they're not spinning again. So there we go. It's now set up properly and now appropriately spinning. And I can place one of these in, then place that one in, and there we go. Now it's going to get the process started. So while that's running, I'm back down in the mines. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to find lead here, because I know I haven't come across any lead in the overworld, so I'm assuming it's here. Okay, so this is definitely Certus quartz. So good. We found Certus quartz. And this is like Y level 50s. That is fantastic. That is necessary because we need all of this in order to get into applied energistics. So yeah, I'm not just getting Certus quartz dust, I also get Certus quartz crystals out of these. Very handy, because that's the whole point. That's the whole thing I'm trying to get into. I also just found moon cobalt ore. Now, I was able to actually find where it says in the quest. You kind of get lost here. This is the overworld. I don't see lead listed, even though tin is listed for the overworld. But I did find that here, right, it does say the moon. So we find Desh, cheese, more iron. We find moon ice shards, Certus quartz, and silver. And then also cobalt ore, which I just found some cobalt. But as far as lead goes, I have no idea. Now, lead ore does show right here that it does have a overworld variant. And it does say negative 24 to 40. So maybe lead can be found in the overworld. I don't see any like special crafting recipes for it. So I just spent such a long time looking for lead, trying to understand why I couldn't find lead. Come to find out that it's just the way the recipes are shown here. So for the alternator, I thought that for the standard machine casing, to make it, I thought I needed lead plates. Oh yeah, that's right. It's just the way that this particular REI is set up. It is very confusing for me getting used to. And I noticed we can use iron plates to make these. Yeah, we don't need lead. It was just the first thing in the list. My goodness, that's confusing. Thankfully, after all of that though, at least I have all of my pieces ready to go. Oh, there's the circuits. And so the only thing we need to do now is just make the alternator. And we do have the Certus quartz crystals, so that was pretty easy to do. And we should also be able to make plates. So these are just going to be plated down simply just by placing them over here. So I can do 6 of them for right now, or what have I. So toss them in there, and this bad boy will get those all prepped up. Thankfully, we have some basic machine frames that we actually got while we were out and about on the moon and exploring the chests. So this should work. I think it's this right here, like that, and there we go. We have standard machine casings. Oh, and we're getting very close. We're about to have an alternator. I just need some copper coils, a couple of iron sheets, and once we get that, we'll have our first little bit of a power source that will definitely lead me into wanting to get into applied energistics. So I just got the red energy cell, or the red cell battery made up. And now we have everything we need to make the alternator. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we have our first power source now made up. And this talks a little bit about how to actually connect. You make these copper connectors, and then the connectors then allow us to take power from the alternator, which we can generate power. We have to spin this up to 32,000 RPM though, or sorry, not 32,000, 32 RPM, which we should be able to do simply by just doing a gear ratio. So if we take this off of here, and then we send this here, that should be enough, I think. And as you can see, the stress is just too much. So yes, this is where we are going to have to set up probably a setup that is specific to this. So yeah, we are going to need a very specific setup for this to work. And I think we're going to work on that next episode. And on top of that, we are going to also try our best to get into applied energistics. And well, guys, with it being the end of today's episode, I hope you guys enjoyed. I do, however, want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video. And that's going to be a huge shout out going to Cape Sword. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member. Now, guys, if you would, be sure to check out the Discord if you haven't joined already. And when you get over there, yeah, be sure to check out the premium section, as it is a way of supporting me. You also get access to supporter servers, and we currently do have a Create Astral server up and running as of the time of this recording. So be sure to check that out. Guys, click that subscribe button if you absolutely enjoyed. Smash that like button if you liked it even more. Comment down below if you have something you want to talk to me about, because I love to read you guys' comments and reply to them. So be sure to do that. And I'll see you guys, of course, in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.